We are in a journalistic crisis, and you use the resources that you have to talk about Amanda Seales to get some clicks. It also led to some publications talking about Amanda. So The Root wrote an article about her, talking about this and talking about her not being likable. The Essence wrote an article about her being like, they wrote op-ed articles about Amanda Seales and her likability and why she's not invited to places and why she's not welcome in these spaces. I thought it really silly to drop because I don't think it matters whether she's likable or not. I don't think it matters because I don't particularly think she's being blackballed. I don't think this conversation mattered, and I thought it was really, really silly. And I also think, I don't think this was what was the intention of Amanda in this instance. But Amanda Seales is very good at virality, and she's really good at using social media to make it so that people are always talking about her. I don't think that's what was her intention in this particular instance, but that is something that she does often and does really well. And I think that's kind of the only thing she does really well, but I'll get into that later in the conversation. So regardless of whether this was an intent or not, this was still something helpful for Amanda. I don't think it was harmful for her. She understands the importance of no matter what, whether it's good or bad, if people are talking about Amanda Seales, that is good for her and her brand and her business and what she is trying to build. There was better things that these publications could have did with their time. We are in a journalistic freaking crisis, and you use the resources that you have to talk about Amanda Seales to get some clicks. You know that Amanda Seales is a controversial figure, and you use her for clickbait. And I just thought that was ridiculous. Like, we are in a journalistic crisis. We already don't have many Black owned journalistic space. The Root is not Black owned. I just want to make that clear. But we already don't have a lot of those spaces. They're already far and few between. A lot of the journalistic-ish spaces we have are blogs or other places that don't have the journalistic integrity that we need. And Essence is supposed to be a space for Black women, and this is what you use your resources to do. There's far more things that we should be talking about than whether people like Amanda Seales or not. I don't give a fuck. Diddy is being taken down in real time, and there are not Black publications diligently following this story, which is a problem. Okay, we are in a crucial election year. We're in very crucial times. And you spend the time to write up something real quick about Amanda Seales. Y'all are corny. I thought that was really whack. I didn't understand that. Thought it was stupid. But it is interesting to me that most people have decided not to like her, and we don't quite have an incident that tells us why we don't like her. That is interesting to me. I don't really quite know where I land with that. I'm still thinking about that because I'm a person who doesn't really need a lot of reasons to not like someone. The group think of it all, the way that everyone has come together, at least on my side of the internet, the way that everyone has come together to not like her is something that I find very interesting, especially because she hasn't really caused harm that we know of. I don't know of harm that she has caused anyone. I just know that she is not a person I favor. Her politics are weird to me. And there's other things that I'll get into that just I don't jam with. But she has not, that we know of, committed an act of harm. So it is very interesting, the collective not liking a person who we don't know of harm that they caused. You know, she was a child star. She was on the Nickelodeon show. Then we see her again in the early 2000s. She was named Amanda Diva. She was a MTV VJ. A VJ is a person who hosted music videos. I don't know if y'all still know what those are. I don't know how old y'all are in the chat. She did that for a while. She hosted a lot of shows on MTV. Then after that, I noticed her working with Q-Tip. She did a couple of songs with him, or she was on some album of his that I had, and she was on there. We know she's an actor. She sings. She became a member of Flowetry at some point. That did not last long. I know she was doing web series for a while. I remember watching her web series. What other stuff did she do? She pivoted into comedy, doing stand-up. So she does a lot of things. I will say that none of those things she does amazingly. I don't think she's an amazing singer. She had an HBO special that I heard no one talk about. I love stand up. I haven't heard anything about that thing. I've never Her web series was okay. It was okay. I don't remember anything from when she was in Floetry. The most I've seen her be in something that I enjoyed was Insecure, but the character she played was low key herself. Low key played herself. But yeah, I don't. Whoever Amanda Seales thinks she is, as far as why she should be invited places, why should she have, I guess, be on the list, and why she should be revered more in black spaces. I don't see why she thinks that, because she's not really all of that. Like, her stuff is not good. It's not it's not good. She don't make good art. It's mediocre at best. And should black women be able to exist mediocrely? Sure. But I don't think she thinks she's mediocre. And I think she doesn't think that because of all of the privilege she has. And I don't think she realizes that she's able to freaking be basic and not offer good anything. And she is, I'm still doing a live stream about her. She still has Essence writing articles about her because of her privilege. And she don't get that. And that's a personal problem. And then as far as the other talents, to me, she's not that great. She's not great. She's just light skinned. She's light skinned and loud. Jonathan Majors was at the NAACP Awards. A lot of people brought that up. And they brought up like abusers and how are they at these awards. And I agree they should not be at these awards. I want to add that Jonathan Majors was probably Megan Good's plus one. I agree there. There are so many people who should not be at those places way, like, way before you even get to an Amanda Seales. I totally agree with that. I want to add that the system works the way it wants to work. There are people who are horrible beings, men in particular, who are horrible beings, but produce work that is good. And that for some will excuse harm, will excuse Amanda Seales hasn't caused harm, so I want to make that clear that we know of. But people will excuse harm and they will excuse them being a bitch and a horrible person because what they produce is some good shit. Unfortunately, that is the world we live in. Unfortunately, we live in a world where Amanda's shit is not good shit. That's what it all boils down to for me. Because of black excellence, because of what they produce makes black people look good, they will allow for these harmful, horrible, destructive, abusive people to still be a part of community because of black excellence. You're not producing the black excellence necessary for people to still deal with you. And that's what's happening. You know, the whole diva term, there are black women in entertainment who have been able to be divas and still have prominent careers. So I think of someone like Aretha Franklin. We hear about all the shade that she's thrown. Now, not harm. Harm, something different. I'm talking about not likable, agreeable, not favored as far as how they exist as a person, but because what the work they produce is so phenomenal and produces so much money for people, I do feel that people would allow them to exist. If the work you produce is amazing and makes people lots of money, you can still be allowed in community.